Reading from Shiva, 5th canto, 22nd chapter. I believe in our last class we discussed till text 14. Today we will start from text 15 onwards. I believe we have been studying about the various planets. तथा उपरिष्टात् त्रिलक्षयोजन तथा भगवान् बृहस्पति एकैकस्मिन्नसौ परिवत्सरं जगति यदेन वक्रः स्यात् प्रायेण कुल ब्राह्मणकुलस्य situated 1.6 million miles above Mars or 10.4 billion miles above the Earth is the planet Jupiter, which travels through one side of a zodiac within the period of uh, Parivatsara. If its movement is not curved, the planet Jupiter is very favorable to the Brahmanas of the universe. Text 16. ततः उपरिष्टात् योजनलक्षद्वाय प्रतीयमाना शनैश्चरः एकैकस्मिन् रसौ त्रिंशान् मशान् विलम्बनाः विलम्बनाः सर्वान् एवान् पर्येकितवात् अनुवत्सरे प्रायेण हि सर्वेषां शान्तिकरः. Situated 1.6 million miles above Jupiter or 12 million miles above the Earth is the planet Saturn, which passes through one sign of the zodiac in 30 months and covers the entire zodiac circle in 30 Anuvatsaras. Saturn is moving very slow. So this planet is always very inauspicious for the universal situation. So it seems that you see all these candidates, planets, uh, they are all revolving around the zodiac, and I believe the zodiac is moving according to the Kala Chakra. So it is a so what it seems to be at this point of time, what is happening is that it's a Kala Chakra which is moving. All these candidates are moving along the Kala Chakra, but they have various speeds. Interestingly, they have various speeds. Because I think the zodiac is a Kala Chakra. And so the idea that everybody is revolving around the sun may not be a very concomitant idea. I mean, as because there are a lot of things which are happening here, interestingly. So the so zodiac is according to the signs of the zodiac are basically the spots on the Kala Chakra. Basically, that's what it is. The signs of the zodiac. But the Kala Chakra itself is moving. Planets themselves are also moving. But that's motion around Kala Chakra. Whereas the sun is having a different kind of motion. The sun is moving like an ant on a potter's wheel. Sometimes this side, sometimes that side. But since it is in between, so it is being said that the planets are really revolving around the sun. Sun happens to be in between, but things are working out quite a chakra. So this seems to be interesting. You see, it doesn't seem to be the straight cut idea that everything is revolving around the sun. So, the sun is not in the center anyways, and the sun is having a weird kind of motion, sometimes here, like that. And the wheel is moving, and these planets have their own motions uh, with respect to the wheel also. So it's the wheel which is moving everyone. It seems that. So, anyways, this only gives us some idea that something interesting is going on. Take 17. तथा तथा उत्तरस्माद् दिशया एकादशलक्ष योजनान्तरः उपलभ्यन्ते स एव लोकानां सम् अनुभावयन्तो भगवतो विष्णु यत् परमं पदं प्रदक्षिणां प्रक्रमन्ति. Situated 8.8 million miles above the Saturn or 20.8 million miles above the Earth are the seven saintly sages who are always thinking of the well being of the inhabitants of the universe. They circumambulate the supreme abode of Lord Vishnu, known as Dhruvaloka, the pole star. Shri Madhvacharya quotes the following verse in the Brahmanda Purana. ज्ञानन्दात्मनो विष्णु शिशुमानवभुषयः ऊर्ध्वलोकेषु च व्याप्त आदित्याद्या सदाश्रितः. Lord Vishnu, who is the source of knowledge and transcendental bliss, has assumed the form of Shishumar in the seventh heaven, which is situated in the topmost level of the universe. All the other planets, beginning with the Sun, exist under the shelter of the Shishumar planetary system. One thing is very, very clear here that the, the present notion that everything in the universe ends with the sun is not validated here. I mean, it's not because well, we cannot comprehend anything beyond the sun, but the reality is much beyond the sun. Because the sun is like an ant on a potter's wheel, so the wheel is more powerful, and the hub of the wheel is the Shishumar planetary systems, which basically means the Dhruvaloka and the seven residences of the sages. So these residences of the sages are actually circumambulating the Dhruvaloka, where Lord Vishnu is residing. It's a Vaikuntha planet inside this material world. And that is like the pivot. That's why the universe was formed like in the form of a chandelier. The model of Prabhupada suggests is like a chandelier. So what is the pivot? The pivot is Dhruvaloka, pole star. This is Lord Vishnu's planet. Then the seven sages, and then all these planets, and then the planetary systems, the expands, then goes down. It's a chandelier. So that's how it goes on. So how it is hung? It's hung on pole star. So so seems that the pole star is the pivot of the Kalachakra, not the sun, not the sun. So the very description makes us understand that the cosmological modeling which the Vedas are giving us is higher dimensional. Because our understandings end with the sun, but here the sun is here the sun is not all known. The sun is like an ant on a potter's wheel. The potter's wheel is more important. So uh, so that's how we can understand that. At least we can appreciate this aspect. The Vedic modeling has many more dimensions into it. and therefore its predictions are going to be much more accurate. And many things what you don't understand, the Vedic model can explain. So that's ends up on the puppets, the first canto, the 22nd chapter of Bhagavatam entitled Orbits of the Planets. So we can very much appreciate the Bhagavatam's analogy of how things are working. I give the example many times, but this example comes in the third canto. How the Lord Supreme Lord has set everything in action. It's just like a child is playing with the laddu, you know. So it makes sense actually because the, by default the whole setting is moving, you know. You know? So the Kala Chakra is moving. On top of it are various planets, and they're moving at different speeds. So who set them into motion? That's like a laddu. The Lord has just released one of them, you know, like that. They're moving around, you know, like that, and they're moving around, you know. In between this whole thing is a sun. Sometimes it is this side of the wheel, sometimes it is that side of the. And the pivot of that wheel is, I mean, when you see from the point of view Bhumandala, the pivot is, if you see Bhumandala, from the point of view Bhumandala, the pivot is the no Sumeru. Sumeru. But on the vertical plane, it's Rugulu. So like a chandelier. The midpoint here is Sumeru, Mandala. And the top there is Rugulu. Full stop. Saptarishi Mandal. You know, this is Shishumat. And then the various planets come here, there, everywhere, and they're moving in different ways. So the Krishna just said this beautiful, nice machinery as a plate in action. You know? It's all Krishna's play. It's all Krishna's play. So actually, Bhagavatam's analogies themselves are so precise. So precisely, we get an understanding of what exactly is happening. Krishna just said one thing in action. That's it. Yeah? Uh, and interestingly, there is no friction from our understanding of the universe. In vacuum, there is no friction. So when Krishna said it in action once, it's going on. And it will go on for a long time. Unless there is some external intervention. Like Hiranyaksha created an intervention. So it was beyond Brahmaji to set it back in action. Therefore, Lord Varahadev came to rescue Mother Earth and set her back in action. After that, Brahmaji was able to handle it. So interesting, no? Krishna set them in action and it's going on. And we are wondering what force is, what this, what that. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Krishna is playing, why are we scratching our heads? It's Krishna's rasa actually. Hello? It's a more precise, I mean, it's a more fitting and precise explanation than any kind of mathematical modeling. Anyhow, if you want, we can make a mathematical modeling of it also. But the causal factor is the supreme law. Uh, so with that, we go to chapter 23. Chapter 23 is the Shishumar planetary systems. Shishumar may be having many other things also. We will get to understand Shishumar very nicely now. There's a mention of the seven stars also here. Okay. Now this is quite interesting. We can read the summary also to get an understanding of what's happening. The chapter describes how all the planetary systems take shelter of the pole star Dhruva. It also describes the totality of these planetary systems to be Shishumar, another expansion of the external body of the Supreme Personality of God. And Dhruva, which is the abode of Lord Vishnu within the universe, is 1.3 million yojanas from the seven stars. In the planetary system of Dhruvaloka, there are planets of the fire god Indra, Prajapati, Kashyap, and Dharma, all of whom are very respectful to the great devotee Dhruva who lives on the pole star. Like bolts are yoked to a central pivot, all the planetary systems revolve around Dhruvaloka, impelled by eternal time. Those who worship the Virat Purusha, the universal form of the Lord, conceive of this entire rotating system of planets as an animal known as Shishumar. So Shishumar is an imaginary animal which is like the external manifestation of the Lord. This imaginary Shishumar is another form of the Lord. The head of the Shishumar is downward, and its body appears like that of a coiled snake. On the end of its tail is Dhruvaloka. Oh, it's interesting. On the body of the tail are Prajapati, Agni, Indra, and Dharma, and on the root of the tail are Dhata and Vidhata. On its waist are the seven great sages. The entire body of the Shishumar faces towards its right and appears like a coil of stars. On the right side of this coil are the 14 prominent stars from Avijit to Punarvasu, and on the left side are 14 prominent stars from Pushya to Uttarashadha. The stars known as Punarvasu and Pushya are on the right and left hips of the Shishumar, and the stars known as Ardhra and Ashlesha are on the right and the left feet of the Shishumar. Other stars are also fixed on different sides of the Shishumar planetary system according to the calculations of the Vedic astronomers. To concentrate their minds, yogis worship the Shishumar planetary system, which is technically known as the Kundalini Chakra. Yeah, so if we see Google images, we can see Shishumar. I believe we can see. But anyways, we'll read forward. So this is the upper part of the universe, where there are these sages, there are all these stars. There is this clear cut understanding But all these planetary systems are revolving. And the example is giving like bulls are yoked and they can just revolve to where like that these planetary systems are revolving around the Dhruva or the Shishumar, in the broader sense. So there is revolving around. This exactly is Kalachakra. This is what is Kalachakra. They are forced to revolve around. They may be revolving at different speeds, but they are revolving. So this mechanism, that yes, they are forced, and no, it's they may be revolving at different speed, but everybody is revolving around the Shishumar. I believe this is what is Kalachakra.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhuji, Shishumari planetary system and Kalal Chakra are the same, Prabhu.
Kala Chakra means what? That everybody is going round, so it becomes a chakra.
Okay.
So either you can say the planets are revolving around, or you can say it like a chakra which is revolving around. Not the same. But this
Ah,
mechanism is because of time. They're calling it as a chakra. So the mechanism is by the eternal time. Therefore, we are calling it as Kala Chakra. But these planets are on. I mean, the motion is not that okay, Kala Chakra is one disk. On top of that are all these they are revolving at different speeds than the relative speed around. Arrangement is how the arrangement is all these planetary systems. They are all revolving around the Shishupar or Dhruva to be very precise. So this arrangement itself is Kalachakra. No? They may have different speeds. So that's what I understand. And going around this is that is like covering all the sides. And different candidates are taking different times to do that. Just for so so this also gives us a point that when we are uh, uh, this again gives us another that our understanding of all planets evolving around the sun seems to be a preliminary understanding. Your understanding is more evolved. The sun is way down on the vertical axis. Sun is way down. These planets are way up. After the sun rays, there are no, I mean, there these planets are way up actually. All these Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, they are all way up. They're not exactly revolving around the sun. Yes, we can say because they are going round. so, but it's not exactly the sun at the center. Even if their orbit is elliptical, it's not at all the sun in the center. The sun is somewhere inside. The sun is also moving here, there like an ant. So they are actually going around the Shishuma like a chakra. So chandelier. So like a chakra. But because the sun is moving, sometimes the planet appear nearer to the sun, and sometimes they appear farther to the sun. And that's how I think the elliptical orbit might have been modeled. Elliptical orbit is a modeling, no, it's not a reality. Interestingly, the orbits are not circular also. Sometimes it is said the orbits are curved here and there, you know. So it's a very interesting kind of motion which is happening there. What was that rope of? What was that rope? The rope of the last class. The rope of invisible rope of what? Wind. Yes. That rope might be an elastic rope also. Sometimes it's like this. It goes out. It goes in. It goes. It can go up here, there. So like this type of curvature also it can do. It can go this type of curvature also. Means it seems to be a quite interesting. So the universe is a toy of Krishna. It's like that, exactly that way. we can relish in that. Mm. Sun is way down. You can say they are revolving around the sun because sun is always in the middle. उसी के चारों तरफ है लेकिन they are not exactly revolving around the sun. सन अपना घूम रहा है ये अपना घूम रहा है. प्रोजेक्शन. इसीलिए हमारा जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है उससे हायर डायमेंशनल अंडरस्टैंडिंग की बात कर रहे हैं. तो आवर अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज लाइक 2D काइंड ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग. कोई सब सन है सन बैठा है ना. तो ये सब ऐसे ऐसे घूम रहे हैं. तो ये लोग भी बोलते हैं दे आल्सो से दैट सन इज आल्सो मूविंग समवॉट हियर देयर नो. समवॉट नहीं है बहुत वॉट है. कभी इधर है कभी इधर है. सन इज मूविंग लाइक एन एंट ऑन अ व्हील. हैज डिफरेंट मोशन. So and the reason is because the sun is Lord Surya Narayan is moving. Because it is Lord Narayan, then the Lord Narayan is not bound by Kala Chakra. He is the source of Kala Chakra. So therefore, the Lord Narayan can actually go to this part of Kala Chakra, that part, any part, because he's very smart. He is the Lord Surya Narayan. Interesting, huh? Seems to be very interesting. Like that. So we can really appreciate some more complex and evolved model. Mathematical equation nobody has worked, therefore it has not come. But mathematical equations will also be more evolved and sophisticated. But the model is very evolved. It was very difficult to comprehend any space beyond 3D space. Yes. Limited understanding. Here the names of the stars are also mentioned. 14 here, 14 there, 2 on the hips, 1 on the hair there. 20-25 stars के नाम भी mentioned. So where do we know any such stars? Yes. Huh? That you have to check from Prabhu's book. What is the definition of star which is written in Shastras? Apparently, it seems to be the same. Stars reflect light and planets don't reflect light. Apparently, it seems to be like that. Star is something which reflects light, and planet is something which does not. That is, that's what the Vedas. Prabhupada did say that in the purport. That there are very few light emitting sources. Sun is one, moon is one, it's not stars. The stars are not emitting light. It doesn't mention that pole star is self-illuminating. They said there are very few. I'm not sure whether the pole star is or not, but definitely these Abhijit and other stars are not because it was clearly written in Bhagavatam that there are very few no, light illuminating sources. Yeah, self-illuminating is very less. Sun is one, moon is one. So anyhow, whether it is self-illuminating or whether it is reflecting from a third party, reference, how can we really differentiate one from the other? Is there any differentiation which can clearly tell us that okay, this is not reflection, this is self-illumination? How can we? Impossible. It is not. So it's just a model, nothing else. It just so therefore, because ultimately light is coming from both the places. Now, how do you say that this is self-illuminating light and this is reflected light? Huh? For that, we have to understand what are the light elements. That also we don't know. So The modern day understanding only limits to energy, but light is more beyond energy. Light element is more beyond energy. So then what? If we see that like what we call what science depends whether it's like that. What we see in the moon is what the world also knows it as moon and what Bhagavatam also says as moon. But where we have landed and we are calling that we have landed on moon, that is 100% not true. So like but calculation has not that that's a mistake. That is where the error is. Where we landed and what we call as moon are two different objects. Very cool. So each what we have landed to each calculation all the calculations are performed to the what we see as the what Bhagavatam is the and the calculations are performed according to what we see as the moon. And where we land is something other than the moon. What happens is between these things is taken together then we got opposite ना राहु तो बीच में क्या हो रहा है कुछ नहीं हो रहा है बीच में वैक्यूम अर्थ है उसके बाद राहु है कैलकुलेशन के करते तो तुम्हें वो कैलकुलेशन ही ठीक नहीं है क्योंकि वो तो मिलियंस ऑफ माइल्स दूर है जो एक्चुअल मून है वो तो मिलियंस ऑफ माइल्स दूर है कैलकुलेशन ही तो गड़बड़ है तो ये तो ठीक है जस्ट पास जाके 8 मिनट दूर घूम के आते हैं इट्स 8 मिनट्स लाइट डिस्टेंस नो मून इज 8 मिनट्स सन इज 8 मिनट्स सन ना ये तो मून उससे दूर है हाँ वही है प्रॉपर तो वही बोल रहे हैं बट आंसर गलत है नहीं आंसर गलत है यार पहुंचने के लिए राहु भी पहुंच गए तो अब ना पूरा है ना इन लोग का इक्वेशन कर वो गलती से राहु मिल गया तो क्या बोलते हैं या तो राहु बीच में आया था जल्दी लॉन्च छोड़ देते हैं या डेनिक को ऐसा डाइवर्ट कर सकते हैं दिखा के कि वहां राहु पे गिर जाते हैं वही होता है there are many factors in their equation which they have not accounted and those factors make sure that they will always land on Rahu, you know, something like that. इतना तकलीफ नहीं है it's not a problem from a fixed model of gravity g to be a constant to the model of specific relativity ना it took इतना सा जाने के लिए इतना फाइट मारना पड़ेगा so many years it took from there to general relativity to just prove that earth is spherical and take those spherical things in in the calculation you know वहां तक पहुंचने के लिए इतना फाइट ना so many years and it took a genius of Einstein to reach इधर से लेके एक्चुअल मून तक जाने में beyond the scope of human energy in calculations like that. So it's complex. So but किधर तो अटकता है का 100% अटकता है ना जब बाहर जाएंगे तो मून का तो ग्रेविटी है ही नहीं क्योंकि मून तो इतना दूर है तो किसका ग्रेविटी होगा अर्थ से बाहर जाएंगे तो राहु का रहेगा तो राहु पहुंच जाएंगे उनको मून पे पहुंच गए यही होता है उनका लाइट रे भी ऐसे ही जाएगा तो लाइट बेंड्स ना बाय ग्रेविटी वो तो पृथ्वी का ग्रेविटी है ना बाकी फिर राहु का ग्रेविटी हाँ तो वो फिर घुस जाएगा उधर so even the lasers will be shot at the moon but the moment they leave the surface of the earth and the gravity of the earth they'll be attracted by Rahu finished and we are thinking we've gone to the moon it's simple no it's not very difficult ये यहाँ से शूट मारा जब इसका एस्केप वेलोसिटी के बाहर चला गया तो कहीं से तो खींचेगा ना मून तो खींच नहीं रहा है क्योंकि बहुत दूर है कौन खींचेगा फिर कौन खींचेगा पृथ्वी से बाहर गया तो राहु खींच रहा है फिर आ जाओ साथ के लिए बीच में आता है ना राहु इनविजिबल है ना, लैंड तो वही हुआ है ना, लेकिन इनविजिबल है तो मून दिखाई देता है, लेकिन लैंड तो बीच में हो गया ना। Rahu blocks the vision of the moon. That is the function of Rahu. Rahu comes in between, ना नहीं दिखता, वो बीच में आ गया। हाँ?
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु।
Yes.
प्रभु ये राहु इनविजिबल होते हैं?
You
सो
cannot see Rahu, but it blocks other planets. That function of Rahu is there because eclipses occur because of Rahu. तो राहु नहीं दिखता है, लेकिन पीछे का भी नहीं दिखता है, तभी तो एक्लिप्स हो जाता है। तो उसका ग्रेविटी काम कर रहा है ना इसमें। This is one model.
यस यस अंडरस्टूड।
मतलब राहु का दोस्ती है, पास में ही रहता है। Yes, it's the arrangement of the Lord. What do they think? That they can apply all demoniac, animalistic principles and they can understand everything in the universe. They'll be fully cheated and baffled in all their efforts. A to Z. A to Z. No? So, the material nature will not let them. As simple as that. Why Krishna says, I reserve the right not to be revealed to the non-devotees, to the demoniac. Krishna will not reveal. Why he should? Why should he? So therefore they are baffled at every step. The mechanism of bafflement we can understand. Okay, we go out of earth, there is one candidate to attract. You know? So that has been planted by the Supreme Lord or the through the Devas. Yes. So one cannot escape out. One cannot escape out.
Because we cannot interact other planet according to steps without the permission of the planet. Is that we have either like that?
Yes. Yes.
So, anyways, so that is that
Yeah. So राहु में भी अंदर तक नहीं समझ में आया होगा कि बाहर से धूल खा के आ गया। वही है और क्या। So if they have gone somewhere, proper said probably it is love. Probably. या उसे की भाई बहन दोस्त है ना। I don't know. I don't know. You know? So, but the point is very clear. Like you can take a flight ticket and go to any country if you want to. But there, if you don't have a visa, they won't let you in. You have to go back from there. Have you landed? Yes, you have landed. Can you enter? You cannot. You know? Did you land? Yes, you landed. Did you land on the moon? No, we landed. Did you land somewhere? Maybe. You know? Did we understand where we land? No, where we landed, did we have proper understanding of not there or not? No, because you won't be allowed to enter wherever we had landed. They have landed somewhere. So nowadays they go and put these retro refractors and they keep sending laser light and it comes back. And then they keep doing this experiments. In physics books they write these kind of things a lot. So they have put somewhere retro refractors. Probably it's Rahu. मून इज फार, सन दिखता है हमको, सन के ऊपर है, जहाँ सन रे नहीं जाती उसके ऊपर है मून। दैट्स व्हाट इज बीइंग डिस्क्राइब्ड। सन रे जहां तक जाती हैं उसके ऊपर ही प्लैनेट्स हैं, मून उधर है। मून इज, उसका डिस्टेंस दिया हुआ है सन रे के कितना ऊपर है वो। सन रे के मैक्सिमम एक्सटेंट के ऊपर है मून, सो 100% वी विल नॉट बी एबल टू सी इट।
In this same category, we can go into other plants and just have a potential life of the chemical. We have a scientific program. If we have chemical, we can generate life. And similarly, if we want to go from we are going to the moon, but that is also just a way to actually go to the moon. Same category. The same category is given that with chemicals we can generate life. Right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
and
Yes.
because
Yes.
we can generate, we will be able to get
Yes.
actually the only one.
Yes. That is true. So we do something and we claim that we have cracked everything. That's not true. That's not true. Okay, so let's go to 23 now, chapter. This is Shishumar. Next one. अतः तस्मात् परतस् त्रयोदशलक्षा योजनान्तरतो यत्तद् विष्णु परमपदम् अभिवादन्ति यत्र महाभागवतो ध्रुवा औतनपादे अग्नीन्द्रेण प्रजापतिना कश्यपेन क्रमेण च समाकः युगभिः सबाहु मानं दक्षिणतः क्रियमाणः इदानीम् अपि कल्पजीवनम् आजीव्य उपस्थे तस्येह अनुभाव उपवर्णिताः। Sukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, 1.3 million yojanas, which is 10.4 million miles above the classes of the seven states. So this was 20 million, and now there is 10 million more. So from the Earth, the planet of the sea is 20 million miles, and now this is 10 million more, which the learned scholars describe to be the abode of Lord Vishnu. So Dhruvaloka is 30 million miles from the Earth. 30 million miles from the Earth. The distance is given. There, the son of Maharaj Uttanapad, the great devotee, Maharaj Dhruva, still resides as a life source of all the living entities who live until the end of the creation. So their life is very, very big. The end of the creation means Brahmaji's life. They get the Brahmaji's life, the end of the creation. Agni, Indra, Prajapati, Kashyapa, Dharma, all assemble there to offer him honor and respectful obeisances. They circumambulate him with their right side towards him. I have already described the glorious activities of Maharaj Dhruva, the fourth canto of Bhagavatam. So it's Lord's abode, but the Lord has given it for Dhruva Maharaj to stay and rule. Lord Vishnu is Lord Vishnu's abode. Sahi sarvesham jyotirgananam grahanakshatradim animishena avyakta ramasa bhagavatalena brahmimana snan ivavastambha ईश्वरेण विहिता शाश्वत anubhasate. Established by the supreme will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The pole star, which is the planet of Maharaj Dhruva, constantly shines as the central pivot for all the stars and planets. The unsleeping, invisible, most powerful time factor causes these luminaries to revolve around the pole star without cessation. It is distinctly stated herein that all the luminaries, the planets and the stars, revolve by the influence of the supreme time factor. The time factor is another feature of the supreme personality of God. Everyone is under the influence of the time factor, but the supreme Lord is so kind and loves his devotee Maharaj Dhruva so much that he has placed all the luminaries under the control of the Dhruva's planets and has arranged for the time factor to work under him or with his cooperation. Everything is actually done according to the will and direction of the Supreme Personality of God. But to make his Dhruva the most important individual within the universe, the Lord has placed the activities of the time factor under his control. This is Krishna's supreme mercy. So Dhruva Maharaj got a benediction when nobody in the universe has got. The Lord gave him his own position there. So obviously, there also Dhruva Maharaj will be subservient to the Supreme Lord. But the Supreme Lord has given him a very strategic position. The Lord himself handles that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu,
Yes, sir.
is Dhruva Loka is situated in material world or in a spiritual world?
Yeah, it is situated in the material world. The Vaikuntha planet is material world. That's the beginning point of the material world. I mean, that's the beginning point of the Shanti. It's
Okay.
inside the Brahman. It's
But
inside the
Prabhu,
layers of the material.
Dhruva Maharaj was a great devotee, but why he got the material world? Why not the spiritual world?
Or because he had desired like that. He wanted to have a position greater than his great grandfather. His great grandfather is Brahma. Greater than Brahma is Rugulu. So Lord Krishna gave him his own abode out of
And
his mercy. Just because he
and And Pro, one more question. Like in the previous text, you told about like the sun sign is the topmost distance of the sun sign. The moon is situated far from that. So from where the moon got the energy and the sign that glows in the
so
night?
from there getting energy in the
Yeah,
sun, the moon is luminary, self-illuminated. Prabhupada explains, we read it actually. Just even Kushagra's grows, burns, then its
yeah.
light is there, it is cooling. Kushagra's burns in a very cool way. The same way the moon has some sort of a Kushagra's mechanism, where it is exhibiting fire and light, but it's very cool. So because it is cool, therefore the moon has the potential to give taste to all fruits and vegetables. It requires a cooling light source, not a hot light source. So this concept of a cooling light source is not there in modern technology till date, but in the universe it exists in the form of the moon. And Prabhupada gives some hints, something like Kushagra's burn. So Prabhupada gives us a hint.
Yes,
Probably
bro.
that is what
Like
is.
yeah, we had till now moon takes light or energy from the sun, so that concept is the very wrong. So
Yeah,
like yeah, understood, bro.
concepts are not supported by the Vedas.
Yes,
Because modern cosmology concept says that all stars are luminaries, self-illuminating, whereas Vedas don't recommend this idea. The Vedas say very few planets and stars are self-illuminating. Not all, very few. The sun is one, the moon is one, and another one when we read, we'll get to know. But till now, what we have read, the sun is one, the moon is one. Shine is a central word, but is it a self-luminary? If it is mentioned, yes. But So, but at least I remember one of the purports written very few self luminaries, and sun moon was mentioned there. So, light illuminating self luminaries are very less. All others may be reflecting planets or stars. Here, planets and stars both are called as luminaries. The purpose, but self illuminating are very less. Because again, we were reasoning that we only receive rights, we only receive the light. Now, from the reception, how can you say that it is a self luminary or it is a reflector? Impossible to say, isn't it? So yes, more or less yes, yes, more or less yes. So other universes are much more complex than ours, but okay, similar constructs will be there. Maybe more details because those universes are higher dimensional, much more higher dimension than ours. Our Brahmaji is four head. Million headed Brahma is also there. That means that universe is million directions. We have only three, four. So that universe, Shishuma, Polestar, everything is very complex. So good, na? Our universe is also simple. We can make our hearts also simple, na? And I forgot we got it. So, it's good to be humble when things are simple. It's easy to be humble when things are simple like that. क्या करने? I don't know whether he went to Guru Lok or Garbhoda question. I don't know. Garbhoda question also Lord Vishnu is there, na? Shirsagar also Lord Vishnu is there. So where he went, I don't know. We really don't know. Shwetadeep and Guru Lok the same? No, absolutely. Well check. Shwetadeep and Dhruvalok may not be the same. Dhruvalok is the beginning of the universe. Shwetadeep is nothing to even take the universe. Well, that's okay. This is the Shishumar. So that's okay. This is where everything is revolving. So it's a Lord Vishnu's place. Where is Shwetadeep? Shwetadeep is, I think, above Brahmaloka, probably. Where to check? I'll check. But seems that Shwetadeep might be above. Shwetadeep might be. Anyways, the Lord has given the space to Dhruva Maharaj. It's a great mercy. Okay, let's read further. We will see descriptions further in further chapters. Chanaloka, Maharloka will come ahead. Next chapter maybe. यथा मेघे सम्भ अक्रामना पशवः संयोजिता सपने यथास्थानं मण्डलानि तरन्त्येवं भागना ग्रहादया एतस्मिन् अन्तर्बहिर्योगेन कालचक्र अयोजिता ध्रुवम् एवावलम्ब्य वायुनो दीर्यमाना अकल्पान्तं परिचक्रमन्ति नाभास् यथा मेघास् सेनदयो वायुवासा कर्मा सारथाय परिवर्तन्ते एवं ज्योतिर्गण प्रकृति पुरुषा संयो गनो गृहीत कर्म निर्मितः गतयो भुवि न पतन्ति. When bulls are yoked together and tied to a central post to thresh the rice, they tread around that pivot without deviating from their proper positions. One bull being closest to the post, another in the middle, and a third on the outside. Similarly, all the planets and all hundreds and thousands of stars revolve around the pole star. The planet of Maharaj Dhruva in their respective orbits, some higher and some lower, fastened by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to the machine of material nature, according to the results of their fruitive activities. They are driven by the poles around the pole star by the wind and will continue to be so until the end of the creation. These planets float in the air within the vast sky, just as clouds with hundreds of tons of water float in the air, or as a great Siena eagles, due to the results of the past activities, fly high in the air, in the sky, and have no chance of falling to the ground. According to the description of this world, the hundreds and thousands of stars and the great planets, such as the Sun, the Moon, the Venus, Mercury, Mars, and Jupiter, are not clustered together because of the law of gravity or any similar idea of the modern scientists. See, Prabhupada directly saying. These planets and stars are all servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda Krishna. And according to his order, they sit in their chariots and travel in their respective orbits. The orbits in which they move are compared to machines given by material nature to the operating deities of the stars and planets to carry out the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by revolving around Dhruvaloka, which is occupied by the great devotee Maharaj Dhruva. This is confirmed in Brahma Samhita as follows. Yachakshuresha Samhita Sakala Grahana Raja Samasta Suramurti Rashesha Teja Yasyakaya Dhamati Samhitakala Chakro Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, under whose control even the sun, which is considered to be the eye of the Lord, rotates within the fixed orbit of eternal time. The sun is the king of all planetary systems and has the unlimited potency in heat and light. This verse from Brahma Samhita confirms that even on the largest and the most powerful planet, the sun rotates with a fixed orbit or Kalachakra. In obedience to the order of the Supreme Personality of God. So these fixed orbits of these various planetary systems itself is what is called as Kalachakra. And here, just now we read the description that it is as if that there is some force and of the wind, and this force of the wind is moving. This force of the wind. Now, what kind of wind it is? It will not be the air what we know of, but it will be a subtle kind of an air. So, because the analogy is given that there is sky and these planets are moved with the wind. What kind of wind is that? It won't be the air what we know of, but it will be something like the winds, uh, like these subtle winds, apana, vyana, samana, no, prana. No, we don't feel them, but we feel the effect of them. We don't feel them, we feel the effect of them. The subtle winds. So, like that, the subtle winds. So this goes to show that these personalities are the predominating deities of the planets. If they want, they can drive anywhere. But they do not forego the orbits which are given by the Supreme. Out of love, they keep driving, same driving. But if they want, they can drive here and there. All calculations will go here and there. So they don't do that. So this has nothing to do with gravity or any other imaginary laws created by the material scientists. Modern scientists want to avoid the ruling government of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore they imagine different conditions under which they suppose the planets move. The only condition, however, is the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the various predominating deities of the planets are persons, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is also a person. So the Supreme Personality orders the subordinate persons, the demigods of various names, to carry out the supreme will. This fact is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9:10, where Lord Krishna says, Maya dakshina prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. Yes, material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. The orbits of the planets resemble the bodies in which all the living entities are seated. देखो, consistency is an effect of love. When a person loves, the person will be very consistent. Consistency is a feature of love. And if something is consistent, one has to take the personality off. One can give the equation of forces. That's all. Like say for example, say a child is there and his mother is working. So she cooks everything and goes. The child doesn't see the mother, you know. So the child sees that everything is there when he needs it. Breakfast is there, but the mother goes before the child wakes up. Suppose. Suppose. He doesn't see the mother. Things are there. Now the child has to doesn't want to accept the presence of the mother. The child can say because my need is there that my thoughts have that power to get things created. One can say like that. No. So why? Because the child needs are understood by the mother. Before the child can ask, the needs are given. That doesn't mean that things are working out by his thought. Although although the correlation will be there. The child will think whenever the need is there, and the mother already knows the need, so she has to apply those needs. But that doesn't mean the thought, is so powerful that it creates a need. You see. So when we say gravity, that is just like that. So therefore, it's important to go beyond the plane of the effects and the shadows to the causal plane, where we can really understand Krishna's love, and that's subservience to Krishna. So gives the steadiness. The steadiness is it's the personality surrender which is giving the steadiness. It is not the impersonal conception idea. To remove the personality, then we'll say, oh, it's a force, it's a gravity. No. Yes, it is force, but it's another kind of force. What force it is? It is force of attraction to the supreme love. So higher dimension of gravity. Like that. So this is the point actually. So they follow. So sometimes like we see in a temple, let's say everybody is getting up at 4:30, like that. And everybody by their own will they are getting up at 4:30. Not that that building has some special kind of forces which don't allow a person to sleep after some time. No. Uh, because some new fellow, a belligerent fellow comes, he'll continue sleeping. Even if it is not like that. So the force, yes, it's a force. It's a voluntary force of love. Love means voluntary force. Is it not? Love means voluntary force. And impersonalism means not impressed upon force. Like so. Uh, so basically, the understanding of the force is a shallow understanding. It's a preliminary understanding. Beyond the forces are the personalities, the attraction between the personalities, and so on. So why they are circumambulating Lord Vishnu? Because Lord Vishnu and Dhruvaloka. Therefore, they are circumambulating. You know? So there is attraction in their heart towards Lord Vishnu, like that. And that is being called as gravity. So it's not wrong, but it's not good also. I mean, there is a dimension of sweetness which you are losing in the description. It's just not. It's not wrong. You can say, okay, it's a force, it's a gravity. You know, but it's not. No, you'll be better off understanding the whole picture, more sweeter off understanding the whole picture. That it is that love and attraction. You know? Is it not? That's a point. So therefore, the orbits of the planets resemble the bodies in which the orbits of the planets, okay, resemble the bodies in which all living entities are seated because they are both machines controlled by the Supreme Lord. Our body is also controlled by the Supreme Lord. The orbit of a planet is also controlled by the Supreme Lord. So what do we mean orbit of a planet? Because their orbits are not just simplistic. It's not that they're just moving in a circular fashion because the rope of wind is going to be 100% elastic. So it's going this way, that way, and it is going up and down here, there, everywhere, R theta phi, all are moving. So it's quite interesting, is it not? But it's a body, it's controlled by the Supreme Lord. The orbits are also like that. Beautiful, no? As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 1861, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hiddeshe arjuna tishtati Ramayan sarvabhutani yatra rudani madhyaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all the living entities who are seated as on a machine made of metal energy. The machine given by material nature, whether the machine of the body or the machine of the orbit or Kala Chakra. Kala Chakra is something, it is orbit. That's it. Interesting, huh? That's why definition terminology is very important. Huh? So this Kala Chakra works according to the orders given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead and the material nature work together to maintain this great universe, and not only this universe, but also billions of other universes beyond this one. The question of how planets and stars are floating is also answered in this verse. It is not because of the laws of gravity. Rather, the planets and stars are enabled to float by the manipulations of the airs. It is due to such manipulation that big and heavy clouds float and big eagles fly in the sky. Modern aircrafts like the 747 jet aircraft work in a similar way by controlling the air they float high in the sky, resisting the tendency to fall to the earth. So the adjustments of the air are all made possible by the cooperation of the principles of Purusha, that is male, and Prakriti, that is female. By the cooperation of material nature, which is considered to be Prakriti, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is considered to be Purusha, all the affairs of the universe are going on nicely in their proper order. Prakriti or material nature is described in Brahma Samhita 5:44 as follows. Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Shaye Vritasya Bhuvanani Vivarti Durga Sharalopamapi Yasya Na Cheshtate Sa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The external potency Maya, who is of the nature of the shadow of the Chit, the spiritual potency, is worshipped by all the people as Durga. the creating, preserving, and destroying agency of this mundane world. The shadow of Chit is Maya. I adore the primeval Lord, knowing that in accordance with whose will Durga conducts herself. Material nature, the external energy of the Supreme God, is also known as Durga, the female energy that protects this great fort of the universe. The word Durga means fort. The universe is just like a great fort in which all the conditions souls are kept. And they cannot leave it unless they are liberated by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of God. The Lord Himself declares in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Janma karma chame nityam eva yobeti tattvata tattvadeham punarjanma naiti ameti svajnana. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Thus, simply by Krishna consciousness, by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can be liberated, or in other words, one can be relieved from this great fort of this universe and go outside it to the spiritual world. Simply by Krishna consciousness. It is also significant that the predominating deities of even the greatest planets have been offered their exalted posts because of the very valuable pious activities they performed in previous births. This is indicated by the here by the words karma nirmita gataya. For example, as we have previously discussed, the moon is called Jiva, which means that he is a living entity like us. But because of his pious activities, he has been appointed to his post as a moon god. Similarly, all the demigods are living entities who have been appointed to their various posts. Similarly, all the demigods are living entities who have been appointed to their posts as the masters of the moon, the earth, the Venus, and so on, because of their great sacrifice and pious acts. Only the predominating deity of the sun, the Surya Narayan, is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of God. Maharaj Dhruva, the predominating deity of Dhruva Loka, so also a living entity. There are two kinds of entities here: the supreme entity, the supreme personality of God, and the ordinary living entity is the Jiva, the Nitya Nityana, Chetanas Chetana. All the demigods are engaged in the service of the Lord, and only by such an arrangement are the affairs of the universe going on. Regarding the great eagles mentioned in this verse, it is understood that there are eagles so big that they can prey on big elephants. They fly so high that they can travel from one planet to another. They start flying in one planet and land in another. While in flight, they lay eggs that hatch into other birds while falling through the air. Before it falls, it becomes a bird. Wow. Spaceship Earth. So that bird doesn't fall. In Sanskrit, such eagles are called as Sena. Under the present circumstances, of course, we cannot see such huge birds, or at least we know of eagles that can capture monkeys and then throw them down to kill and eat them. Similarly, it's understood that there are gigantic birds that can carry off elephants and kill them and eat them. Huge birds, no? Monkeys, no? Some of them can take monkeys. Monkeys. The two examples of the eagle and the cloud are sufficient to prove that flying and floating can be made possible through the adjustments of the air. The planets are in a similar way are floating because material nature adjusts the air according to the orders of the Supreme Personality of God. It could be said that these adjustments constitute the law of gravity, but in any case, one must accept that these laws are made by the Supreme Personality of God. The so-called scientists have no control over them. The scientists can falsely, improperly declare there is no God, but it is not a fact. This is not a fact. Yeah. So yes, Prabhupada does mention the point that we can say that these adjustments of the air is what they are being modeled as gravity. But when it's possible, but these airs are not existing on their own; they are existing because of the order of the Lord. So here we are learning actually the higher science of love. And the love leads to Sharanagati, and Sharanagati leads to steadiness. So much so that a mathematical equation can be then written on it and passed by the name gravity. That is how these great devotees, the personalities of the various planets, love Lord Vishnu so much. They are so pakka that a whole mathematical equation be written on it. You know? Right. Like that. And a whole theory can be developed. Where does huge birds come from? Eagles. No, the mention of the words has only come, I think, to make the point that the airs, the adjustment of the airs is making the planets move in the form of the chakra, the Kala chakra, the fixed orbit. Or it's like these birds which are adjusting the airs. This adjustment we call it gravity, but that's not the. Yeah, but that's a lower dimensional understanding. In its broader spectrum, we can understand where from these forces are coming. Where from these adjustments are coming. That's coming from subservient institution. Let's stop here for today. Rebo.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी
Hare Krishna.
Tantra Shri Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Rebo.